Alright, I'm gonna show you, explain to you my this photograph, this that you can see in front of you. I have created 4 versions of this photograph because I really wasn't sure which direction I want to go in the final edit. But so I posted on Instagram my the very first version I have created, which is I think a little bit more subtle, less contrasty, picturesque. But if need be, I can show you in the end the other edits, and let's see if you can make it pick a difference between all 3 of them. So I started, it's a square, so I'm gonna just make it clear that I actually started working in sections. So I had the whole photograph just as I took it. There were many layers here and 2 different photographs. So the background was different, and and of course me and the I don't know, water well, don't really know what it's called. It's like water pump, I suppose, right? That would be in English like a water pump. The old one from the old days used to pump water from the well underground, and they would just yeah, but it's not water that's coming out here, it's a bit of blood, so a little bit darkish. So anyways, this is the final edit that I edited, posted on Instagram. Of course I will print it for next year for Art Hillerol. So if you're in Copenhagen area, visit Art Hillerol. It will be in March, and hopefully I'll be there. I applied, so I'm waiting for a reply if I get a place. Yeah, so that's the image. Let's go to the yeah. So the image originally, of course, was much wider, broader, but I only wanted to take this section, and I actually was working until the very end, until I made my final crop in sections. So I really wasn't working on the whole image. Something fell. I wasn't really working on the whole image, but I only took a section of the image that I was interested in, and I was only working in that section. So it wasn't really the whole image I was working on, because I knew I don't really need the background, the rest of the background. I only needed that particular section. So it looked kind of funky, it looked a little bit distractive to my eye, but because I could see everything else around that wasn't being edited, so it was a little bit distracting, but it was difficult to focus on the whole thing and trying to make, you know, the most of it. And so of course the crop was the final edit, but so I started with picking, you know, I'm pointing at my other screen, which section over here, which one I wanted to choose, and where do I want to place myself. So I placed myself. Of course, I removed background from the other photograph. It was rather darkish, so I did edit the, you know, a little bit the hair. It was much darker than it is right now. But I chose this place for myself to stand. Yeah, I was experimenting a little bit with the bottom here and, you know, a little bit here. But in the end, I thought, well, there is a little bit of kind of debris or, you know, something. It was actually very clean. There was like a swamp. God, I wanted to hop in that swamp. But then I thought, who was going to, in their right mind, hop in with me? No one would hop in with me. I would have to lay in that swamp and do all kinds of crazy things, and my assistant was supposed to be standing but refused to do so. So I settled for this, and yeah, I guess I need a new assistant. So yeah, so we kind of I think that was already edited. Yeah, we worked a little bit on color, and of course Again, I created layer mask, removed whatever I didn't need, and so on. So then we went to add the fabric. This is actually, I have some fabric presets, and I used the fabric, and that one was under soft light. If you can see over here, you can modify your fabric. Let me just see. It's at 100 opacity, at 100 fill, and of course, you know, you go normal is like this. So that's the preset that I had. Of course, I removed a little bit over here. Oh, that's this, okay. So I took that fabric, I kind of stretched it out a little bit in Photoshop, gave it a little bit slightly different shape, and then I knew, of course, perhaps over here, maybe remove a little bit, but yeah. In the end, it wasn't so visible, but it was a little bit more, so I, you know, I was stretching a little bit more. So I deleted here, and then I took it to soft light, or so here, and I left it like this, and that was good for me anyways. So then later, commercial, I needed to work on the swamp to be a little bit reddish. So I wanted to create, I mean, if blood was coming out of that water pump, it would only make sense that the water in the swamp will also become red, not just this. Because, you know, if you pour a dye into water, it just kind of dissolves into it. So naturally I had to have some sort of color. So I took another preset fabric, and that was this one. I think I can show it. That was also soft light. It was also at 100% opacity and 100% fill. And normally it looked like this. I mean, I did stretch it, I did modify it in Photoshop in order to lay it down. When you go under edit and then transform, and then you can play around in there. I think I've already showed it to you before. And I chose soft light, and I think it's when you go under edit and then you go to transform, and then you can scale, you can rotate, skew, this distort. Sorry, I have contacts today, so I need to focus extra hard. And then perspective wrap. Now you can rotate vertical, horizontal, 90 degrees clockwise, counterclockwise, and rotate 180%. So basically those you can play around with and see how you like it. So the next step was to add a background. So I chose a background that was, this one is at, let me see, okay, 78% opacity. And I took this kind of like a reddish brick red, but I did tone it down a little bit. It was a little bit too vibrant, but I felt like, you know, that brownish brick reddish, I kind of wanted to keep it a little bit in there. So I took that. But then I realized it looks rather dull and it does nothing, and there's just too much going on in the background. And I was experimenting with, yeah, I do it all the time. I can have a normal conversation with people. The moment I come online, I feel like I am, I don't know, oxygen deprived, and I feel like I have to yawn or something. Very ridiculous. I apologize for that. There is a medical explanation to that, but we'll get to this another time. And as you can see, so I have highlights on my hair, and then there's some highlights over here, and I really was trying to figure out how I can maybe incorporate that background, those highlights on those on the grass with my highlights. But in the end I decided that I couldn't, so yeah. So then I added texture, and I added again soft light at 79 opacity. So basically if I take this to 100, then you can see that it's a little darker. And that one was at 78, so let's put it at 100. So pretty much you can see what happened, yeah? So this will bring down again to 79, and the top one again to 78. And that's how we're gonna leave it. But again, it wasn't enough, and I thought, this doesn't really speak to me. But you have to understand that I didn't start with this particular red and then gray. I started with kind of yellowish grayish. That was my first preset that I did. Nope, didn't work. So then I was playing around and I was shifting them, moving them from one place to another, just to kind of put them a little bit on top, a little bit on the bottom, just to kind of figure out the balance and how it's supposed to be. And it took me a few days to just kind of figure out how I want it to be. But I thought, how about a little bit contrast? So I thought, okay, I'll add a blue to it. So I added blue, and it started taking a little bit shape, because I did like the gray, that it gave a little bit of like a texture, because it was primarily I was going for texture. And then the reddish, I wanted to kind of fill in a little bit with the red background, with the red blood. So I wanted to add a little bit of that brick red to the entire image, so just kind of give it a little bit like not entirely red contrasty, but just so things will blend in a little bit. Then I thought, I already have the yellow, which didn't work for me at first, because I thought it should be yellow. My idea was that it should be yellow and red, and it didn't work completely. So what I did, I took I turned it into soft light for also 78 opacity, and what it did, it gave me this kind of texture, because that color preset has a lot of texture, and so I liked the texture all around. I thought it was cool. Then of course I had to figure out the opacity, where is too much, where enough is enough, and too much. And of course I took the brush and removed created a layer mask obviously, and removed all a little bit around. So these over here, the yellow colorations are a little bit stronger, and these ones over here, they're a little subtle, a little softer, because I toned them down with a brush. And so then I wasn't exactly happy yet, and I'm thinking it's too dull. There should be a little bit more to it. So I added fog. This is actually a layer of a fog, which is darker over here, and then the fog was kind of sort of over here. The opacity and fill, they're at 100%, so there's not much anything that I can do for this. Yeah, there is. Sorry. So I chose overlay. Because it made most sense, and then you can do, play around with it a little bit differently. But I took overlay. So this is normal. This is what it looks like, and now I kind of like it. Yeah, but we're gonna, we're going back to the original. And then it was dissolve, and darken, multiply. And what did I say that I did? Something. Overlay, that's right. So I settled for overlay. And I thought I can always work a little bit on contrast a little bit later. And the opacity and the fill is at 100%. And then I thought, okay, we are almost there, but something is still missing. So I wanted to add another coloration. And so I did, and I added another layer with just a little bit different, another color. to it, just to kind of give it a little bit more to it. And that layer is at 16% opacity. So if I take it now, just my music. So if I take it now and put it to 100%, then you can see the layer. And the layer is, yeah, as you can see, that's it was on lighten, and as you can see, there's like kind of water paint, yeah. And so I thought, why not? Why shouldn't it be like that? Just wanted to experiment, just to add a little bit, just a little bit texture here and there. So it doesn't seem like too dull, but a little bit more painterly. And I think I was satisfied with the photograph. But as I said, I have a few other ones. Let me just see if I can show them to you. I do. I can show them to you. So then after that, I created these 3 additional versions. So this one is first version, and then 3 additional versions, because I was trying to figure out what would be the best. And then I thought, okay, the blot kind of sort of maybe disappears a little bit in them. I do not know. Maybe yes, maybe not. I do like the green, but I think my favorite would have been this one, or maybe this one. I don't know. I think that one, the last one, because it's the most contrasty. But then again, things kind of tend to disappear a little bit, and you know, my legs kind of disappear just a little bit, and I think the pool, the blot disappears on those photographs as well, and you cannot really tell what is flowing out of the water pump. But I settled finally for the last one, but because I really wanted the viewer to see what was happening. And as I asked around a little bit, I think the viewer can say that, the viewer said that they notice what is happening, what is going on. So that was the choice I made for the final image. But I love to experiment with final edits. Even when I'm happy with it, I want to experiment with final edits. So there you go. Lots of layers, lots of figuring it out, and I was trying to figure it out quite a lot. And I think I'm happy with the image. So, of course, it's all on Instagram, not yet available to purchase on my website, but at some point it will be. I just need to order a couple of prints. So, thank you for watching, and guess see you another